1:24:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday, September 1st. And today I'm going to talk about the Green Scapular. And a commenter reminded me that I wanted to talk about this, but I've been in my own little world over here these last couple months. So I totally forgot. So the Green Scapular. So for those of you who don't know, I think everybody is familiar with the Brown Scapular, which is the most common one that is worn. And I think I talked about that in another video. Pretty sure I did. But there's many miracles associated with that, deep history, especially with the Carmelites and things like this. So what most people don't know, however, is that there's many different colored scapulars for many different things. And there's like a purple scapular and all this stuff. So the only scapulars that I have experience with personally is the brown scapular that I now wear every day. And this other one, which is the green scapular. So the green scapular, that's the prayer on the back, has an interesting history, which I'm going to read. And I'm going to post the link below of where you can order these. I ordered like a bunch of them for pretty cheap off of, I think it was Catholic Company. So I'll post that link below. They come just like this. They don't come with cords, which was fine for me for the purpose that I had intended it for, which I will get into in a minute. But first I'm going to read the little insert that came with it, and we'll go from there. So the background. On January 28th, 1840, in Paris, France, the Blessed Virgin appeared to Sister Justine Bisqueborough, a novice of the Daughters of Charity. This began a series of visits which culminated in a special gift of Mary, the Green Scapular. The first 4 or 5 visits of Mary to Sister Justine seemed to have had no other end than to deepen in the sister her relationship with the Mother of God. However, shortly after she had received the habit of the Daughters of Charity and had been sent to serve the poor of Blangy, she received during prayer another apparition of the Blessed Virgin. Mary held in her right hand her heart surrounded by flames, and in her left a type of scapular. This scapular consisted of a single small piece of green cloth suspended from a cord of the same color. On one side of the piece of cloth was a picture of the Blessed Virgin as she had shown herself in the apparitions. On the other was a heart all inflamed with rays more brilliant than the sun and clearer than crystal. Our Lady's heart, pierced with a sword, was surrounded by an oval inscription surmounted by a cross. The inscription read, "Immaculate Heart of Mary, pray for us now and at the hour of our death." At the same time, an interior voice revealed to the sister the meaning of the vision. She understood the meaning of the vision. She understood that this new scapular and the prayers of those who used it would be a means that God would use to bring himself those who had no faith and to reconcile those who had strayed from their faith. Thus would they be assured of a happy death. The scapular was distributed, and God granted wonderful conversions and some bodily cures. The gift of the Green Scapular. What is the place of the Green Scapular today? Our church exists in the material world. The sacraments, for example, baptism and the Eucharist, were instituted by Christ to be a means of grace. They use elements universally recognized by the human person to be sacred and to be life-bearing: water, bread, wine, and oil. The church reaches into the material world and draws many other objects, indeed potentially all creation, into the service and worship of God. The green scapular, the crucifix, the rosary, the miraculous medal, and religious pictures and statues are examples of how the church uses material things to bring us to God. And wearing the green scapular, we honor the Immaculate Heart of Mary. We remember that her heart is a symbol of her love and her response to God. Honor is given to God through Mary as we recall her divine motherhood, her holiness, and her role in the mission of her Son. In this way, all prayer to Mary has a direct reference to Jesus and to the church. The use of the green scapular. This scapular can be worn around the neck or on the clothing, or placed in the room of the one for whom the prayers are intended. The prayers surrounding the heart should be repeated daily, if not by the one wearing it, then by the one giving it. You are invited to make use of this gift of Mary to grow closer to her Son and to ask her to pray for you and for those whom you love. And then it has the Nihil Obstat of Monsignor Carroll E. Statterfield and the imprimatur of William H. Keeler, Archbishop of Baltimore, March 26, 91. So, long of the short, conversion. The Green Scapular is the gift of the graces of conversion. So, my intended use, what I was going to do, what I did when I bought these, is I was going to hide them. I was going to hide them in the room of a particular individual between their box spring and their mattress, which I successfully did on July 25th of this year. I then had one at home because, like I said, I have a whole pack of them. Oh, so why was I doing this? Because this person has strayed from the faith. They had not been to Mass since high school and confession maybe once after that. But basically, it's been over a decade, about 16 years, since this individual had gone to Mass or gone to confession. Their life is steeped in darkness. The Blessed Virgin gave me some insights as to the sins keeping them in bondage, the state of their soul, things like this I'm not going to get into because it's deeply private and personal. And I felt that by showing me this, she was inviting me to pray for this person and to make it my mission to bring them back into the church. And so this has been going on for 2 years, me trying to bring this person back into the church, fasting, prayers, sacrifices, anything you could really think of. And then I stumbled across the story of the Green Scapular, and there's so many awesome stories of conversion with this, just on the internet. And I think I just came across it in like a YouTube or something, or maybe a blog. And I'm like, all right, you know what? Like, honestly, I've tried everything else. Like, why not? Let's try the Green Scapular. So I just want to give a disclaimer. So this person did not know this was placed in their house. I didn't tell them. I said the prayer every day. I brought, I have this one at home. So I woke up every morning. I have this on my nightstand, not that one behind me, the other one on the other side of my bed. And every morning, as soon as I open my eyes, after I say the one for the Militia of the Immaculata, which is on the miraculous medal, I said this one as well. And again, it's Immaculate Heart of Mary, pray for us now and at the hour of our death. And I'm still saying this. And I was praying for this person to, number one, go to confession and start the path of conversion to free themselves from the hellish demonic bondage that they are under, and to change their heart. Instead of living for themselves and their own pleasures, to change their heart, to live towards God, to see value in his standards, to see value in the virtues of chastity and selflessness and things like this. So that was my prayer. And I want to give a disclaimer that we cannot expect God to answer prayers the way we want him to answer prayers. So my prayer was answered in a very dramatic series of events that were heart-wrenching and brutally heartbreaking to me personally, and also to this other person. But in the mess of this heartbreak, so that was July 25th. On August 18th, so not even a month later, something happened that was just devastating. Something this person did was just devastating. My whole perspective was kind of shattered, and it was just really bad. But what had happened out of this horrible, horrible, horrible situation that we found ourselves in was the next day. What it did was it shed light on the fact that there's some serious problems with the way this person approaches life and things like that. And he ended up becoming more open to what I have been talking about for the last 2 years, which is simply just the message of following Jesus and living out the gospel. So after this horrible event happened, the next day he went to confession after 16 years, and he went to Mass with me. So I was on here talking about this a couple videos ago, and how It cost me a lot, and I mean that. Heartbreak, pain, suffering, just tremendous betrayal, just on a tremendous level. I mean, just awful, the worst betrayal you could think of. So, however, once the fog cleared, the smoke cleared, the dust settled, however you want to say it, this person is now doing, at least more open to suggestions, number one, but reading good books, reading good spiritually Catholic books, going to Mass, and, we're working up to Sundays, but at least once a week going to Mass and confession. And so I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that what the Blessed Virgin says does come to pass, and that she only speaks the truth, and that her promises are to be taken literally and seriously. But with that, we also have to remember that it's not all, sunshine and rainbows, that sometimes prayers are answered in the midst of extreme heartache and brokenness. But if we keep the end mission in mind and don't take it personally, that's what I've had to repeat to myself over and over again. This is not, I'm collateral damage. My feelings were collateral damage in a greater battle of this person and demons and Satan and sin and bondage. And the ultimate goal, the ultimate objective, my ultimate mission was always to try to bring this person back home to the church. And I feel like we can credit Mary and her Green Scapular with doing that initially. So the disclaimer part is definitely use these, buy them and use them and sneak them in people's houses. I mean, maybe it would be better if you could actually convince them to wear it. That was not happening in my case. So I had to pull out my PI moves, and I snuck it in between their box spring and their mattress. And the disclaimer part is you have to be open-minded to how God chooses to answer prayers and when. This happened pretty quickly. Well, there was also a 2-year backstory of prayers and sacrifice and things like that. So maybe this was just the nail in the coffin. I don't know. But I do know it did something. I do know I don't appreciate the way the prayers were answered, but that's not up to me. And I do know that, like I said, the promises of the Blessed Virgin can be taken to the bank. So if you have a particularly hard case of conversion in your life, whether it's for yourself or just a loved one that just will not hear what you're saying, I recommend the Green Scapular. And it's just the only scapular that I know of that can be used in this fashion, where it can be like snuck into a room without having, without the person agreeing to wear it. So use the Green Scapular. I've heard other stories of people that, even on that website, I'll post a link below. I was reading the reviews, and one lady, her husband was a Protestant and she's a Catholic. And I think maybe he was a Catholic at one time or something like that. But so she put a bunch of these around their house where he sits in his chair and things like that. And she said, soon he's wanting to learn more about Mary and maybe wanting to go to Mass or whatever. So use them. They work. But you have to use them with faith. You have to use them with the utmost faith in the Queen of Heaven, that she will do what she says she's going to do. She will obtain the graces needed. You have to use it with full faith, without any doubt in your minds. And that's how I used it, faithfully every day, saying the prayer, knowing that Mary would hold up her end of the bargain and obtain the graces needed for the person to convert. And like I said, we have to keep an open mind, because in this case, I was not prepared for the way it happens. And I really, it was like a punch in the gut. I mean, it just knocked me down. It really did. For a couple weeks, I was out of commission completely. But once the fog clears and the dust settles and can look back on it and things, the miracles of Mary. And I would definitely attribute this one to the Green Scapular. And I will continue to say this prayer for the person, that they continue to journey farther on their walk with Mary and with Jesus. And really that they understand that the only way to life on earth and after death is through following Jesus and finding value in his teachings. And, you know, as Christians, we can only convey that message. We can't make anybody understand that. That is a grace that is given to people by God himself. So, Virgin most powerful, pray for us. Joan of Arc Media out.